brightness there. Woohoo! Okay. I'm literally rushing about trying to get things done. Back here, grab that there, put this over this side. Everything's kind of getting thrown everywhere. Right. Tonight's plan, the plan of attack, should we choose to accept it, is to try and set up the gaming PC. Gaming PC is currently 5. That'd be cool. So I'm playing about with my sources, my scenes and my overlays and a whole pile of other stuff in the background. So I zoomed the camera above in by 500%. Adjusted the overlay. Hello. You come to see what we're going to end up doing at your PC in the next couple of days. Hey, yeah, not too bad. Just playing some fiddly sticks with some boxes just now. Yeah, well, we'll put some stickers on it and change it to red. That's it, that does it. Right, we're halfway to what I'm wanting to do. One last thing to change over. I want. We'll use this microphone for most of this evening because we're going to be moving about a lot. We need to get a hold of the keyboard. So this is my little wireless keyboard and my little wireless mouse. Really? Why is it double audio? Hang on. Okay, that should solve that. I don't know why that had reset. But there we go. To fix that issue. And then we can put this back down in the corner where it belongs, out the way. And plug this back in over here. So how is everyone's evening been? How's everyone's day been? For those that play World of Warcraft, I just timed a lower Karazhan 15 with 2 upgrades on the key. We managed to squeeze in a quick key before we get started, and got 2 upgrades on a 15. Somebody else's key, wasn't mine. Right. I think we are all set, and I think we're in the right places. Everything should be. Just do a quick over. One more change to this one here, which was, what did I want to do to it? I'm trying to just scooch things over, because it is not too far out of line. Sight. There we go. and disable the zoom function. Not zoom, but the focus. That one. And as if by magic, it's all done. Why they're all undone. That's better. Anyway. What's happening? What's people up to? Move that mic out of the way because I'm using that. Yep, that went live. That's a plus. There it goes. Being annoyed? Why are you being annoyed, pal? Why are you being annoyed? Ah. Good thing we're not raiding tonight then. Right then. So the plan is to get the horde case out, get it on the bench, get it connected to the monitor, and once we get the case out and set up, we're going to start doing setup process and testing. So without any further ado, I'll do that. We'll move this chair out the way. That for the rest of the evening. It's not over there, we don't. Mouse! Mouse! Squeak! For the most part, most of this evening, we actually don't really need any tools, hopefully. I say that with confidence, of course, that we will not need any tools for this evening. Do need an extension cable because I need to plug things in, so put that into my second plug port over here through the switch. That will then give me power for this monitor that we're going to move here, and I'm going to swap the cable on it. That's output monitor. Side there, that can then, as if by magic, get to there, and I better not do it the other way. So that's the output. In, out, shake it all about. You do the hokey cokey and you turn around. Right, I can go around that now. That's that part. Well, we've got a monitor. We need power for said monitor. So, kettle plug. D16s. The reason I call kettle plugs is because years ago, it was the only thing these plugs were ever used for. Most common thing that used to plug into a kettle. Before we get fancy. So we've got that part. I need a keyboard. Bring out a mega keyboard. Loads of clicking. Over there just now. I will need a mouse for it as well at some point, so go into my box of goodies underneath. I have got keyboards and mouse and headphones and a whole array of stuff. Oh, go away. That one, that's a nice colourful one. Also spare cameras. And we can then put that back in there. Oh, stand still. There we go. Can everyone still hear me, or am I just talking to myself? I don't remember if I changed the audio source over or not. Is it muted? Bonus! Put it there. We hear you. That's probably not a good thing, but I'll take it as a victory. I don't know if Zinir's watching along. She's potentially playing about with OBS actually. Right, so one hold case. Keyboard. What way do we want to turn it? Pardon me. We will go that way. Ah, bugger. I put all the cables away, didn't I? I forgot I needed them. So, get this back out. And I don't need the tools, but I do need a USB drive from my toolkit. And I looked at the manual for the power supply, and there was a cable that I was looking for. Couldn't find it. Oh, I don't need that. Well, one of the cables that we'll try to find the other day there. Not the kettle cord, but we do need that. So that is the Type 3 PCI Express cable, that one, so don't need that. That's a Molex converter. That's a second Molex converter. That's a third Molex converter. Just for powering like extra fans and stuff. That's a Molex cable. That is Type 3 PCIe, so that's for apply to that's a SATA cable, which I'm not looking for, but that doesn't belong in there. I have a special box for them. That goes over there. That's to connect to a hard drive. This is Type 3 SATA power. And that is Type 3 SATA power. And that's all little cable ties and nuts and bolts and stuff. Okie dokie. So I think that I might need to try and order a cable. I do know that there's little digital ones down there. Digital ones the other day there. And the digital ones we put in the box. So a good practice is to keep all... it's more likely going to be an eBay thing rather than an Amazon, because it's a specific part I'm going to be looking for. I might even be able to get it directly from Corsair itself. So, inside the box of Windows, so this is the motherboard box. Things that I've kept hold of is the likes of an RGB cable. That was for the RAM. That was for the hard drive. That's the quick startup booklet for the motherboard. That might have an answer to what I'm looking for in a second. Warranty stickers. NZXT screws and fittings, another addressable cable, little cable ties, zip ties, which again I'm not going to use them just yet because I want to make sure I've got all the parts in this that I want. That there, along with the splitter cable for the audio if we're ever using a 2.5mm jack headset. Now this is the cable here that goes with the motherboard, not the motherboard, the power supply, which is a digital USB. Now the question is does the motherboard have the capacity to put one of them on it? I have a sneaking suspicion the answer to this is going to be no. And if it is, it means I need to get a hold of a USB or micro USB that goes to a motherboard USB socket. There's loads of pins on it. So a little look around the wire diagram of motherboard to see anything that resembles. Doesn't look like there is any. That's a bit of a shame. So, in order to run the sensors on the power supply to work with the Corsair software, which is something I'll be doing later, not a today project, I need an additional cable. So I need to try and keep this in mind. At some point I need to try and get a hold of one of those sensor cables. And potentially we might be able to do it through Corsair themselves. Just go direct, get that cable. If not, then it'll be a case of going back to the manufacturers or going on to eBay. Talked about a minute ago. Let's have another one here. Where did I put it? Come out, wherever you are. That's zip ties. That's not what it's looking for. Where did I set that extra bloody cable? It's happening again. We're losing our shit. Right, anyway. Enough of this. Let's bring this over. Plug that in. Drop that off the front. Plug that in this end. Pop that up here because this has got USBs in it. It's one of those two. I don't remember which one. One's got Windows on it and one has got a lightweight operating system. We're going to use to test before we put Windows on. We need to plug in squeaky. Squeak squeak squeak. Good thing about this case is it has got, not the case, the motherboard is it's got lots of USBs. Absolute tons of them. We should never run short of USBs in the future. If we do, we could always just add in extra card. Got more on it. Right, so that's the keyboard and the mouse. Both plugged in. we are going to take our big plug, plug that in there. So one of the things I've not shown you yet is the front view of the case. It's lit up. So it does have a little lamp on the front of it. The button is on back here. On which off, that's probably on because that was a bit more of a resistance. In the back pocket. Somebody remind me, if I'm looking for USB sticks at some point, they're in my back right pocket. We all know I am going to be looking for them at some stage. I'm going to forget all about them. Probably better get a better extension cable. That one's a bit on the short side. It's got a bit more length to it. Yep, it's a bit better. Not much, but just give me a bit more flex on this power cable. And then we can get that extension out my way. And set it to the side, and we'll pick it up later. Breaker switch is off. Cable switch. Just undo that. Yoink. Yep. That goes to that. I don't want that exists. Right. So, front of case. Oh, that's on. That should be on. That turned on. There you go. So there's a light on the front. So we can turn the light off. Light goes on. Light goes off. Light goes on. Easy amused. Next thing. Game. $9.20 hidden.
I am who I say I am.
Pushing that over. Don't worry too much about what that's saying right now, because I'm going to do deactivate it and reactivate it. Yep, there we go. So this is what is now the readout display on the tower. And around, just so that you can get to watch all the little RGB lights inside. I'm sat behind it out the way. I'll move that round to this side, and then we'll move that up to there. Go. And that means I can pluck my bum onto my chair. Okay, so first question it is asking us is to do with the fact that there's already been a second, or another CPU in this motherboard. I did buy it second hand, I bought it off of Amazon months ago, and I really should have checked it, make sure it didn't go outside its warranty. However, manufacturer's warranty is probably about 3 years, so it should be all good. Right, so first thing, we detected a new processor which will change the data stroke storage of the storage space for firmware TPM. TPM is Trusted Protocol Module. It was one of the things that Windows 11 stated that you must have on the motherboard in order to have a physical part of the physical requirement for Windows 11 to be installed onto new PCs. Was it must have a TPM module, trusted protocol module. It's a bit like a key encryption device, but it plugs straight into the motherboard. It's a little kind of square block. Doesn't look very nice. There is ways around it, however. There is workarounds for Windows 11 so that you don't need to use it. But this works in conjunction with it, so that's good. If you do not apply TPM function, if you do not apply TPM function, please press Y to continue. Otherwise, please install the following instructions. Press Y to restart the FTPM, which will be the firmware trusted protocol module. If you have BitLocker or encryption enabled, the system will not boot without a recovery key. Press N to keep the previous firmware trusted protocol module record and continue system boot. Firmware trusted protocol module will not enable the new processor. You can swap back to the old processor to recover the TPM related key and data. So because this is a CPU I intend using, that last option isn't applicable. Also, I don't have the original CPU. It says I purchased this online. It had already been set up by someone else at some point, therefore that's a nil. Keyboard's not wanting to register. Why are you not playing? Type of unit. Did that work? There we go. So we're going to hit the big fat Y key. Don't worry about that, that's just, it's now working through its next loop. So you can see it's now redetecting the output for the screen. It is just going to blink backwards and forwards, don't worry too much about it. So every time you see the big colourful box appearing, it's not that it's not working, it is just simply it is trying to detect the boot menu. And there you go. The user's seeing on screen what I'm seeing on this monitor, or just looping it over. So new CPU install, please enable the setup to configure the system. The video card is not supported by UEFI driver. Press F1 to start the setup. So do that. Got some blinkings going on. And we're now into the BIOS. So, a couple of things that we want to do when we're in the BIOS. Because it's the first time we've been in here, we want to make sure that our time and date and everything is correct. Can somebody tell me time and date? I think we're at the right time and date. Yes, it is. So time and date's right and language is correct. The other thing I want to do is I want to be able to go into the RAM. So its clock speed is able to go up to higher clock speed than this. I might not be able to change the RAM this time round, we might need to do it later. So overclocking preferences, we're not going to do any overclocking to the CPU. What I do want to do is for RAM, now it might not be in this setting, is I want to turn on a feature known as XMP. Oop. This has got a lot of movement in it. Not in there. Do we see what we do with changing this memory frequency? It's currently clocked back to 2133 megahertz. We want to take it up to whatever the RAM is rated for, which I think is 3200, the one that we put in it. Mhm. Ah, memory frequency. It doesn't have. I'm almost certain it's 3200. The ones that we put in. I think that's me done the main part of one. Turn on XMP. Right, 50-50. Do we take the red pill or do we take the blue pill? Which one? Red or blue? I want to say it's the red one. I really want to say it's the red one. Give it a try. Save changes. Changing the RAM up to 3200 megahertz. Now there is no operating system on the hard drive, which is M.2 that we put in, the Western Digital Black. So what I'm hoping is going to happen is that this USB is not the Windows startup one, but is instead is the other one, which is a lightweight operating system that I run testing components. So it's going through its power cycle, startup protocols. It's going through all its little test functions just now. CPU is running at 40 degrees. It's doing its scans on the hard drive, so there's a little screen in the back there. You can't really see that fan. Might move that. So this is the lightweight operating system. Kinda cool. Oh. So yeah. What I'm going to use this for is, this can actually be used for a lot of things, so like password recovery or hard drive recovery stuff, checking to see what's on them. Going to come into the utilities. We don't need any of that stuff. Don't need that. Don't need that just now. Don't need that for the time being. That's to do with drive recovery stuff. Securities. That's for doing network work. Other tools. Verify scan password removal. System tools. Right, so hardware. So this is CPU Z. This will tell us what kind of CPU is in it. That will tell us if it's at least detected correctly. So our CPU is the AMD processor, which is good. It means that's a start. It's a genuine AMD part. It's telling us the voltage and it's telling us the specific name. AMD Ryzen 9 5950X 16 core processor. That's exactly what we was expecting to see there because that's what we installed. On that, the new Ryzen, I want to say it's the 6000s, or is it 7000? Anyway, the new Zen 4, or Zen 3, Zen 4, what one's this? I forget now. Anyway, new Ryzen processors came out this week. They've been out about a week exactly. So I need to take that out of my back pocket. But they do have a different. These are AM4 sockets. The new ones are AM5, so it wouldn't fit. Also slightly bigger. It looks a bit like a. What do you call it? A Threadripper. Cache, that's fine. So the motherboard, what kind of motherboard? It's the manufacturer, Asus computer, it's ROG Crosshair 8 formula. Again, exactly what I was expecting. It doesn't recognise what BIOS is on it just now. So we will do the BIOS update at some point in the very near future. We'll go into the website, we'll get the latest BIOS, we'll flash the BIOS on. There is a USB slot to do it. Chipset. Board, yep. So everything's looking pretty good. BIOS was 2021. Which means that the BIOS was done probably on its release, because that's December time. Memory, it's not giving us a memory. Interesting. It is telling us the total size, which is correct. Memory slot 2. Not detected. Not detected. It's not giving us the names of that just now. It's fine. Graphics. It's a power cool, which is what I was expecting again. Right, let's bench this just as a quick indication to see how this is going to run. This isn't the actual benching test that I would use. The benching software I use is actually by Passmark. We'll put on slightly later. We'll do it once we've finished all this stuff. So as in terms of reference, we'll compare this against in the list. I want it to be a recently newish one. These are all extremes. That's a Threadripper. So let's compare it to, comparing to a first gen Threadripper, you can see that this CPU even does better than first gen Threadripper, both single core and multi core, but not massive amounts. Just like minor kind of like percentages. Yeah, they're very similar in terms of overall. Anyway, that's the CPU, so I am quite happy that I've got the correct CPU in. I now want to check the GPU stuff. Now, that's slightly down into it because that's saying It's PCI 3.0. I was under the impression that these GPUs were Gen 4. This is 16. Oh, wrong keyboard. This is the manufacturer's website by the looks of it. I was almost certain these were meant to be Gen 4. Not got the specs on this page. Yep, PCIe 4.0. So this might be it's needing its BIOS updated. It's also not detected a lot of the other bits and pieces. I think this is because we've not got the drivers and stuff installed for it actually. That's probably the reason behind it. The hard drive is detected, which is NVMe, that's what we wanted. And it is also the Western Digital series. It is 1TB. And there you can see the GPU is actually detecting the proper one now. So you can see there's the name, and if we come down here you can see PCIe version 4, which is Gen 4, which is what the motherboard's got on it. Why we went with it. DDR4 16, not showing the clock speed though. Go back in maybe and check that once we actually set it all up and run it. 16, 8 and 8. Cool. Everything seems to be running okay so far. We've not destroyed it as yet. It's not blown up on us. It's not went completely haywire. I don't remember what I installed Passmark on. I used to have Passmark on a USB. Maybe on this one. I hope not. I hope this has actually got Windows on it. So the next big question, do we go for Windows 11 or do we stick to Windows 10? Don't all call out at once. That's doing some analysing. Yes. And that's cool. Just to spin that away. Still analysing, analysing. Right, whilst that's doing that thing, we are going to check this USB stick. I need a USB slot to be able to stick it into this PC. Do we have a spare USB? Potentially not. Potentially we do. We do, we don't, we do, we don't. Somebody keep an eye on that, let me know how it's going on. Temperature on the CPU's come down to 32 degrees, that's good. That means that the cooler's working. Not stressing too much. Nice cool temperature on the CPU. And apologies for my big bum passing over the front of that. Did that not detect that USB? No. Which one uses the 5 volt? Pulled out. DC 5 volt. On. If I lose the image, don't worry. It will come back. Okay. Leave that there. Oh, I need to give that power again, or it won't refresh. Oh. It needs to get plugged back in. Oop. Yep. I need to activate. There we go. So that gives us a nice updated image, and we have CPU information, we have a RAM, we have the temperature of the motherboard, graphics card run at 24 megahertz, that's slightly more than that one. And in terms of storage, got a SanDisk, which is a little USB drive, and the main digital drive. Cool. So everything appears to be working. It's just an update of that one. Pure information. Yeah. It's all looking good. So this is all the nerdy stuff inside. That's just all those. That. Usage total, availability, virtual total. Size, yeah, motherboard. So I do reckon the BIOS will need an update on it. Graphics looks okay. Storage, yep. Don't have all of that. That's just peripherals and the network. So this has actually got 2 Ethernet ports on it. One which is a 5G and one that's just a LAN port, but they both work independent to each other, which is really good. No, there's NT. That looks okay. Don't need a recovery. Cool. Right, so first job done. We have checked that we have installed our components and they are registering, and in theory should all be working. So we're already part way there. Next job to get I'm just getting on to something else here. We just need to be able to get Windows actually installed. Windows 10 or Windows 11. What's the preference? What do we want? I'm just trying to tidy as we go here. This is where using wireless keyboards and mouse can make them a lot better, but I only have one for each, and working limited. That up the top for a second, along with this here, up round the back, there, then move that forward. I'm just trying to create a bit of space so that I can work on one side of the desk and do everything else on the other. This now, all the way over to the other side. There we go. That frees up that space again. There. Leaves me with that monitor out the way. Keyboard and mouse for that tower. Boop boop boop. And drop that down into there. There we go. We're getting more space by the minute. Right. So what I need is a copy of Windows, either 10 or Windows 11. Now, I was almost certain I did have Windows on that USB stick. Might actually be on it, and the reason it's not detecting is because it is Windows. So, what we'll do is we will go into Start and we will go shut down. Let it do its thing. This has got Windows on it. I know it has because I've done a PC just recently and I installed it. Swap USB drives. Plug that in the back. Cross our fingers. Press the magical button. And hopefully it will start back up. I can see it's done something. It's not on this screen yet, but it's done something. Monies. Monies, monies, monies. It's all colourful in there. I'm not convinced about that fan on the back, the exhaust fan, because it covers the little LED screen of the motherboard. I can see that fan getting ripped out just shortly. And only having one exhaust fan. Just saying. Just finish off my can iron brew. Okay, so is that done? I'm keeping an eye on my phone because I'm waiting on an important business message as well coming through. So whenever it comes to setting up Windows, I tend not to use an Ethernet cable pre-connected to it. Reason being is because then I can pick the name of the machine rather than it trying to tie to an email address. I just don't like the concept of it one bit. I would much rather have it a standalone build, not tied to anything. So it's asked me for a product key. We don't need a product key at this point. We're going to say, I do not have a product key. What this will do is it will prompt us when we're running Windows later on. In the bottom right hand corner it will say, oh, you need to register your copy of Windows. Yeah, okay, we'll do it later. The little button that we can click on. We're going to go for Windows Home. I don't really see need for having Windows Pro on this machine. Yes, I agree to the terms and conditions. We're going to click next, and we're going to do custom install. So Western Digital Black Drive here. We're going to click on new partitioning, and we're going to take it for the full amount if we can. Actually, this should automatically do this. So, doesn't need to be formatted. We click next. It's getting itself ready to do its install. That's doing that part. With all these Twitter notifications that we've got sitting. Some weird reason, it's probably loads of folk like, oh, new expansion for World of Warcraft coming. We know it is. Literally a couple of weeks away at this stage. So it's getting ready for the install. So it's now going to do its power cycle, it's going to reboot itself. Whilst it's doing that, I'm going to just grab a can of iron brew. Another cycle moment. And it's getting ready. Are we ready? Ready for the race, are we ready? Oh, 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 hey, oh. Right, we do need to put a network cable in this at some point, because we are going to have to download things like World of Warcraft. The most important thing that's going onto this is Warcraft. And I'm also going to have to download the other bits and pieces I want for benching. Comes with Passmark. So a network cable from the rear cupboard. Please tell me this is the right one. be this. Got all my network cables in it. Go for the big black one. We're only going to use one of the ports just now. Going to be the LAN port. Not just yet, however. We'll wait until it's finished to install. Because I don't want it to turn around and say, "Oh, you're connected to the internet. Please register an account." No. No thanks. Into the wall socket. Does that connect to... It doesn't. Oh. Need to finish my network cabinet off at some point as well. We run the spaghetti cable all the way around behind us. Unless people haven't realised it yet, I've got lots of jobs that I've not quite finished yet. It's because I never seem to have enough time, because there's always another job comes up that needs my attention. And it seems to be this ever ongoing cycle of jobs come in, I get part way through them, they get to a point that I've done what I need to get it running, but I never get a chance to go back and finish it. It's like my whole networking programming stuff is still sitting. Right, so first question's asked me, English, yes. I don't speak any foreign languages. Yes. Keyboard, yep. No, we do not want you to try and connect to Wi-Fi. We have got none. Skip that. This is my 4 other Ethernet ports that we attached to the wall in the back. Just where I think I'm going to move my Plex server to. Easier to access it. Because then I don't end up having to crawl in and out to get into it, and I'll probably move the fridge up that side as well. Yep. Continue with limited setup, yep, that's what we want. So that means that we are not going through the whole rigmarole of it telling me weird and wonderful things. Name. Artificer. Girls. Password. Don't need one. No, I don't want you to know my location. No, you can't use that either. And you're not getting to send optional reports, and we don't have that. And no weird and wonderful stuff, and no IDing. And no to that as well. Bad enough that my phone talks to me. I don't need the computer talking to me. Yes, you were saying weird and wonderful things to me the other day there. Let me just check. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's telling me do not switch off the PC. I wonder if that sticker is on that other thing. 2 seconds, this is just making me wonder about something. This was something I noticed the other day there. I was doing this build malarkey stuff. Maybe, potentially. Hello, hello. Is there anyone in here? Nope. Yes, I know you can all see my butt sticking out. Go back to that later. I think I know where the sticker is that's meant to be on the graphics card. The buggers try to use it as a fucking freebie sticker on the front. Whee! Right, there we go. We're back round. Browse the web with Microsoft Edge. The new version recommended to maybe later. Whatever. Okay, first thing we want to do, we want to take our Ethernet cable now that we have got Windows started, and we're going to take out the USB for it trying to install the OS for later, and we're going to plug in that to there. So that's the first job. I really need to put a little thing on this in Windows. That's Windows, that's lightweight operation. Network. Do you want to allow your PC to be detected by other PCs and devices on your network? We recommend allowing this only on your home and work network, but not public. Yes, I do want it to, and that's so that I can then deal with other things later on. Armor Crate software update service. What the fuck is this? Would you like to download and install the Armor Crate? Armor Crate is a service that can help you manage and download the latest software updates. If you cancel the download, you can find Armor Crate install tool at Asus. Now, I am actually going to give this a look. I've not looked at this one. I have seen Gigabyte's version, and I actually did like the. Stop popping up with shit. Stop it, you mother. Yes, I know that you are trying to tell me shit. Gigabyte has got something similar for doing the BIOS update. It was actually a really cool tool. I really liked it, and I wish other motherboard manufacturers would consider doing it as well. Blinkety 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 blink. I've only got one person watching just now. Not sure who. Frosty? Omega? Zeniel? Marty? Hello, it's me. It's me again. We've already launched. Guess who? Ah, Zeniel! Hey! What do you think? See, it's not broken. We didn't crash it. We didn't break it. Windows user account connect. Your permission can. Please approve your Windows user account. No, it didn't boom. It went quite well. Yes. Do you like the fact that? Do you like the fact that? So the monitor that I'm using is just behind the tower, and this is the tower. But what users are able to see on screen is what's actually on this PC, not that PC that's running the stream. So what I see on this monitor, users seeing big screen and a little box of me. Cheers, Tommy. So it's now doing an update. It is, isn't it? It's pretty cool. Big brain moment. I swear my brain is made up of lots of cables and shit. And Matty's just jumped into the fucking Discord channel and hello. No, like, what the fuck? Hang on, can I do that? I can't do that. Somebody tell Matty that I'm streaming and I can't hear him. Are you alright, mate? Oh. Yeah. He's sitting in the channel. I'm assuming that he's listening and he's talking. So rather than typing, he's been lazy. He's talking away in the background. I can, Matt, if I was going to say, if you are sitting about, jump in the channel. I will be able to hear you. But typing works just the same. Just FYI. It reads aloud. I don't know if yous hear it reading aloud. I don't know if it comes up. Does yous hear on stream what's been typed in chat? I never thought about this. I'm sitting watching the bars waiting for somebody to say something. Thinking, does it do it or does it not? I've got absolutely no idea. I never thought of this until now. I don't think it does. I don't think you hear what's been read aloud in my headset. Do. I need to keep an eye on this. I'm trying to patiently watch to see if somebody types. Good, you've both jumped into the channel. Yeah, I can hear you. What I was thinking though is if you type in Twitch, do you hear what's been said on Twitch as a voice thing? I don't think it does. So I've got a function called read aloud. So I hear it in my headset, but I don't know what it feeds back to use. Ah, okay. That's kind of cool. Although, I might set it up so that it does read it aloud back to you. Because then it means if people are watching the background and there's a conversation taking place, then you would hear what's happening. Maybe. I'll think about it. Right, so we can do that. You guys can keep talking, by the way. So this is us installing the software. You don't need to. This is installing the software for the motherboard, and it's making me scroll to the bottom. And then we want to get new fancy wallpaper. Look, what the fuck is this all about? Ooh, look, fancy stuff. Set up your machine. Yeah, it takes ages. Yeah, I'm that tech guy, by the way. Okay, so I need to go to... I'm just putting in some login details. At least I remember to actually change the window whenever I was doing this part. Okay, we clearly forgot the password, hang on. It should be correct. Okay, so it's now asked me for my date of birth, so I'm definitely not showing you this one. I agree to the following policy. I acknowledge the terms and conditions. I acknowledge the cloud. Keep me up to date. Nope. Keep me up to date. Nope. So that's the optional ones. Sign up. Don't need junk getting sent. I understand and will comply. Complete email verification in a little while. Yes. Single sign up. Allow other software to access account. Okay. So this here that we're looking at just now. This is. Get rewards. No. We don't want to join the elite program and earn points. And we'll register it later. There we go. So first name, artificer. Second name, skills. Email address. That is also the business email address. Matty's got the big fuck off TV on. It's fucking yon size and I can hear me. See? Senior can hear it as well. Right. Products. Yeah, I think that's what Matty's got as well. 65 inch, 69. See, told you. You need to get to play World of Warcraft. Nice. Okay, so this is optional shit. We're taking that fan off at some point. Just as an FYI, that fan's getting taken out. Oh man. Image animation. Ooh, that could be cool. We can put custom images. We'll go with that just now. So, I'm just farting about with some setting things. You can't get to really see this, and I can't get the NDI to set up on my phone. But on the back of the motherboard, there's a little screen. It's only a little dinky thing, the bloody size. But the exhaust fan kind of blocks it, so I'm going to take that back fan off and remove it. Anyway, I'm digressing. Let's just talk about RGBness and setting all that stuff up. Really bothered about that. Come back to that later. Drivers. This is the part I was looking for. So this has already got. This is so that I can update the drivers and install the latest versions. You can see here that there is new versions of different things. So there's a new chipset. There's the LAN support. But all of this stuff is new, or it's outdated. So I'm going to do the drivers first. Click the yes on this. Wow, your telly's really loud, mate. Iron Brew. What's everyone else up to? Apart from watching me try to break a computer. Shouldn't say that because Omega's probably still lurking around. I think she might be working. Or maybe she's not on Discord. Although actually that probably does mean she's working because I know that she was watching Twitch on her phone. So the fact that it's not detecting that she's on Discord, but she was on the stream earlier, she's probably working. Means that she might be watching. If I'm talking about breaking computers, she might not let me have a look at hers on Thursday. You guys got to be about for that on Thursday to see the Alliance case, see what it looks like. We can criticise the wiring inside it. Matt, are you about on Thursday? Look, we'll take it apart. We'll be like, oh, look at the wiring. This is shoddy work. Whoa, who done this? Yeah, it's the only reason she's got it, because it's blue. Yeah. The adverts is playing. So this is a different series as you get, it keeps jumping. But the ROG is the higher series, the one that's behind it's a tough. So this is for our Zeus products. And ROG is the Republic of Gaming, which is meant to be their higher one. In fact, they've got the Strix as well, so it's ROG, Strix, Tough. It's everything that falls under the umbrella of Republic of Gaming. So the Strix stuff's the high stuff. And you've got the Prime, which I've got a Prime motherboard over there actually. It's sort of the basic range, the entry level sort of stuff. Matty, good for you. Start off with the basics. Get a computer that can run. Actually, I've just realised it's not Matty's mic that I'm hearing, it's Zinir's. Sorry mate, I thought all this time it's been you that I can hear the feedback. It isn't. Yeah. Every now and again, I just see the little green blinky bit on Discord. Nah, it's cool, I can hear myself, I know what I sound like. Nah, it's cool, pal. Don't worry about it. Oh. I don't think so. Don't know. No, it's fine. That's fine. Oh. What's up? I've not got enough space for my knees. I really should just open the cabinet doors. Then I can put my knees on the inside. So Matty, whilst we're waiting on this doing its thing, you had sent me a request form. Let's have a look. I might need to redo the form. Do you actually have a genuine budget in mind of how much you want to spend on a PC? Look, have you had a think about it? Okay, that's quite a big budget. Right, so I've got your request form here. I've got your email address, I've got your name, custom build, World of Warcraft, and Discord was the requirements for it, and you've put that you want a excellent gaming stroke streaming build. Who's 15 grand and above. You want it to be a full ATX motherboard, sorry, case size. That means that we need it to be a big case, not the mid-tower case. So this is a mid-tower, this one. And a full ATX case is a lot bigger, mate. Like, do you want to see a difference in size on a mid-tower and a full-size tower? So this is the mid-tower one, which is a bit smaller. Wait to see. Have I got one in the back there? I think I do. Give me 2 minutes. Yeah. I'm going to have to move a couple of things off the desk. So I do have a full-size ATX case off to the side. It's in the storage locker behind the guitar. Before MD asked, no, I'm not going to play the guitar, and no, I'm definitely not playing the violin either. Right, so this here is, I do have a violin, yes. It's down the bottom. I'm not joking. I genuinely do have a violin. Do you want to see? Would you like to see the violin? There you go, violin. World's smallest violin. No, I used to play the violin. Used to, a very, very long time ago. And this here is my gun case. Did you? I actually stopped playing because I used to get sore fingers from it. However, a bit dusty. Here you go, one violin. Not played it in a very, very long time. Not tuned or anything. I'm not going to even attempt it because it's just going to sound like shit. Yeah. Pretty neat. This is actually a 3/4 length violin, it's not a full size. So it's a slightly smaller one. Oh, nice. I do like, this is going to sound really strange, like, I listen to like rock and metal music. Like, most of you already know this. It's right, Matty. That's pretty cool. Why did I think that was a bigger case? So this is another mid-tier case, mate. So this is, yeah, brand new. So this one's actually a Corsair case, which is actually a really good one as well. It's the Spec 4. What is it? It's the Spec 4. I'm almost certain this is. Yes, Spec 4 tempered glass. So that's got the glass panel on the side. It's got hard drive bays and that on it. It's got plenty of fan space in the front, 2 back, 1 rear. You could have an exhaust 2 up here, and you can have 3 down the front. And the front of it is mesh, so the lights shine out through the front of it. So that's quite a cool case. They're pretty cheap as well. Yeah. This one, you can open the side paneling. You just undo the screws on it, so it's good. Yeah, get the hoover in it, yeah, I know. Yeah, see, I knew that was coming. I fucking knew it was coming. Right, so that's another mid-tour case, Matty. I do have a full-size case somewhere, I just need to try and think where I've got it. Thought it was that one for a second. But the kind of main difference is just the height of it. In terms of the actual functionality of having... Yeah, spec one, yeah, I like it. That was actually the case I was going to use for this build before I put it into the horde case. This was going to be my sort of temporary build case, and then I was going to come back to redoing it all and moving it into the horde case afterwards. What changed there? Was you asking me to change it? Right, so that part's done. Finish and restart later. Right, so we've done all the drivers on that. Let me bring this back over. Just touch portal. This is a really good tool for doing overlays and stuff and transitioning. Yeah, this is how my brain works. Folk don't get multitasking. Multitasking is an art form, and it's not a case of just being able to do one or two tasks at any given time. It's the ability to have multiple ongoing tasks running, and not just physically but in your brain. So everything I do in life is multi-layered, multi-structured, and it's kind of why I like raid leading and tanking, because they're two high function things, but that's how my brain works. Like, I can look at something really quickly, break it down and move on to something else and keep juggling and moving and keep going until my body goes eh. Right, utilities. What utilities do we want to install onto this? So yeah, that is updated. There's a few utilities that this is trying to get me to install. WinRAR. Yep. ROG. I don't know what the ROG one is. I don't know what that one is. Overwolf. Overwolf, if I remember rightly, that's what we use for our add-on manager. Am I right on this? For World of Warcraft. Overwolf owns CurseForge. That sounds a bit right to me. Yes, Overwolf owns CurseForge. They take it over. Game 5 used software to do network management. Never heard of that one. CPU-Z, yes, that's one of the things I want to look at. Take that off. This program offers several abilities of modify device. That is okay. I'm going to install all of these apart from that one. I'm going to look at this one and see what it's like. Install. Whilst that is doing that thing, and it's installing all these different bits and pieces, and it's going to take its time potentially. talking. Right, so Matty's budget was for a full ATX case. Now this obviously is subject to change. You didn't have a colour scheme in mind then, Matty? Like, did you have a specific colour that you wanted for your case, or not too fussed? Okay. No, it's fine. It's I've got Discord muted, so that it comes through. So I get that. Yeah, I spoke about getting one or at some point. It looks like you've already said you know what monitor you're wanting by the looks of it, because you put the G9 or the G7Z, so I don't need to look into that for you. Point. You have put that you would prefer the Wi-Fi on the motherboard. Which is because the router is potentially in a different room, so you won't be able to run an Ethernet cable directly to it. Between 1 to 2 terabytes high speed storage. Okay, so what about that? And you agree to the delivery process. So let me that. Just bring up the browser page. Let me just save all this. Right, so thinking about what you've asked for, Matty. But the first thing that we want to consider is the case, because the case kind of ties into what motherboard that we get. Rather than trying to go backwards and try and find a case that works with the motherboard, you're better to go from case to motherboard. Now you've said that you wanted one that was a full size tower, but I would also probably look at the mid tower, which is this size. And then you can go either looking at pricing, go for something that's quite cheap. Now the one that I had brought up a minute ago, which was a Corsair. So these are the sort of really nice branded ones. So any of these are decent cases. Now that there is that one that I showed you a minute ago. That's that Spec 4. So you can get a better view of it. So it's got that mesh design on the front. On one half that allows lights to shine through. It's also red, not blue, which is good. Obviously the tempered glass side panel to it. You've got USB sockets on the side. And you've got drive bays if you want to put hard drives in it, additional storage. Most people nowadays don't tend to use hard drives unless it's a temporary solution. And that there's your side panel USB, so you've got a Gen 3 and a Type 2 by the looks of it. That's a Type A and Type A but 3.0 and USB 2. That was that case, and that comes in about 50 quid, mate, for just the case. Other cases that you've got in here, you've got Spec 5, which is completely black, NZXT H510, which is this case here, except it's not branded. the one that we've been building into over the last couple of days. Get the shroud over the bottom for the power supply. Same back panel, same top panel. So it's the exact same case except just matte black. Or you've got one again, H510, but it's in matte black, but the power management bar down the middle is red. Is there any of those that sort of stick out to you that you think, well, I like the look of that, that's pretty cool? Actual in Lee is very similar kind of look to the one that we're using, except it doesn't have the power management bar on it. So he's went all quiet, hasn't he? All quiet on the western front. I'm just quickly going through stuff in the background here. Other screen. Don't know if Matty fell asleep in the process of all this. That is just muted his mic and not realised it. This machine, so I've got CPU-Z now running. Start it up. So this is the second time we're going to have seen it. First time was prior to actually putting the operating system on, and this is now it running. CPU Ryzen 9 5950X. That's working fine. It's the M4 socket. What the heck is that? Yeah. So that's working. 16 threads. 16 core 32 threads. That motherboard will register as the X570 series. BIOS. I still think we need to do a BIOS update. DDR4 dual channel. Yep, that's good. 16 gig. Happy days. One is the free. XMP 2.0 Corsair, which is SK Hynix, actually the chips that's in it. This is where a lot of people think that by buying certain brands is better than buying other brands. A lot of the manufacturers, the people that manufacture the DRAM or the RAM kit that's in this is made by SK Hynix. The model manufacturer who came up with how they wanted it laid out on the board and everything is Corsair. So the RGB fancy coloured RAM is essentially using SK Hynix for the DRAM chip inside it. So what I also want to do is just check that that pairs off, and it is the same one, which it is. So they're both 3200 MHz, cache latency 16, and they're both from the same kit. So that's good to know. We will be changing that at some point. Graphics card, RX 5700 XT, which is now registered in its name and all the bits and pieces that we wanted from it. Mention it, I don't need to worry about that. Cool. Everything that we wanted is in there. Next up. Save my data. What's the name of the company I'm thinking of? Oh, I'm typing in the wrong bloody keyboard. Passmark. Passmark performance. That one. And also user benchmark. Next one I want. Download for Windows. Which one do we want? I believe it's that one. Ah, no worries, right? Doo-doo-doo. Test. Download. Right, so close them down. This is a free trial version of Performance Tester, which is PC parts, not PC parts, Passmark, in order to bench it. Now, the reason we're going to bench it is because it will give us an indication if everything is running correctly before we do anything else to it. I want to make sure that all the components are performing at the right levels before we tweak anything in the future. It also gives me a baseline standard of what the computer's running at before we get started, and before I ever change anything on it. So I'll record these records once we're done. Looking for something because I wanted to look at the user manual for something. I wanted to see how to enable XMP on this. Chapter 2. Chapter. Yeah, it's going okay, thanks. Oh, it's a blue case. We're just doing our bench test just now. So it's just going through the CPU, it's just testing it. Where it's running. Whilst it's doing that, I'm just looking at the manual. I want to see if I can find how to put on XM. Yoo-hoo! Right, now loads of little magical squares. Mode file. control. It's doing a test. So it's testing the graphics just now. Yeah. It's part of the bench testing. So it's the 2D graphic testing to see that it can actually refresh and keep up. But one way to entertain viewers, fucking have this going mental at them. Like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, I really should have put a warning for epilepsy on this. Whoops. Nah. They'll go boom. What tuning was it? Maybe on that actually. Look at this. I've manually set the RAM anyway, so I know that I've got it to the right speed. You've got me in speed dial? That's kind of worrying. Yeah, I think it is. Does it say Alexander? Yeah. You. I think that'd be a cool game to play. Wish. Wish. Now, I think this is where they got inspiration for the flattened platforms in the Grand. This just reminds me of the Grand. Ooh. Take this. The main crater one. And then we get Space Invaders. I'm pretty sure Space Invaders is the next one. Pew 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 pew. Do 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 do. We're doing a bench test of the PC, mate. Not going mental, it's testing it. Pure psychedelic. Who's been taking acid? I'm positive it's not crashing, pal. I run these tests quite regularly. Firefly, firefly. That's Marty's bumhole whenever he's fucking trying to tank. Or Zaneer's whenever I'm she's trying to heal me and I'm tanking. Yeah. History. Look, loads of balls. Good question. Do. Probably the next 2 hours. So whenever I was talking about doing Omega's PC for over 2 days, this is pretty much the same sort of process. So first day is cleaning it and making sure that all the cables and everything's in the right places, nothing's detached or anything like that, because she's talking about it throttling up and the GPUs, fans are going mental. So Thursday will be looking at path lines and tracing, and then Friday I'll be testing it if I don't go into it on the Thursday, because we need to make sure that we can run this software, which is Passmark performance tester, to make sure that it passes all these tests, because this is potentially where we're going to discover what's the first issue. And it's now on to doing the hard drive test. So this has got a solid state drive, which is that little M.2 drive. Matty, back to the question, whilst that's running through that test process, we're talking about the case for yourself. Was there any of those cases that you like the look of? First one, that was the Spec 2, that's that one that I pulled out a minute ago. So that's that one there, that's the Spec 2. Sorry, Spec 4. That's the exact same as this one. That's this case here, it's the Horde case except matte black, which is the exact same except with a red power management bar down the middle. The Lee and Lee in white, which is a similar look to the NZXT, except it doesn't have the power bar in it, in that graphics card. So that's sort of like the cheap versions of all those actual. And I say cheap, they're not actually mass. So that's a mid, that's a mid, that's a mid, that's a mid, and that's a mid, yeah. So all of those were mid tier. What I could do is come back in and go to look at the full size tiers. So these are a lot bigger and chunkier cases. But you got to kind of ask yourself the question, look, what you actually got to put in it that's got to require a full size case. So there's one of these, I've got this somewhere. Don't remember which one, I think it's that one there I've got in the cupboard. But I mean the difference in price is about double the price for a slightly bigger case. So you were about £50 for that one I showed you a minute ago, the one that I've got in the cupboard, and then you're up at over £100 for a case. So it's the question being of, look, why would you spend double the amount of money on a case? It's going to take up more space, but you're never going to fill it with anything. Just a thought. I'll let you have a think about that. Also, if I send you put this in Tech Talk on Discord. What you do is whilst you're watching along the background, if you have a look at these and then let me know which one feels going to be better. Back to that. We'll do that in the background of doing this. Right, so fucking these. This is our benching score. So it shows us here what we got. So it is 98th percent on CPU. So that means that everything in this computer around the world, it takes all the world components is being tested at this current moment in time and ranks them and places them accordingly. So the CPU sits in the top 98% of the world for benching. 2D graphics was in the top 96%, for 3D graphic rendering top 91%, memory 76%. The reason for that is because it's 16 gig, we've got 32, we're going to throw that in later. And the hard drive 99%, so that means it is sitting in the top 1%. So most of this stuff in the overall percentage is rated as the 99th percent, which means that it sits in the top 1% of computers it's tested in terms of benching score. So this build that we done sits in the top 1% of PC builds. I think that's pretty bloody good, even if it is mine. I'm just getting a drink. So, we're going to the online variable chart. And that's in terms of the parts themselves. So people that's using the same sort of components and everything. What I want to do is go into CPU benching. Go for high end. So we're never going to get like ridiculously high numbers on the CPU bench scores, because that is Threadrippers, that's all multi-performing stuff. That's the new Ryzen that's just come out. What I'm looking for is Ryzen 9 So that there is the CPU that we've got, and this here is sort of the scores that they came out with. Now bear in mind we've not overclocked this CPU, and it comes out to just under 4000, so it's sitting in this range just now. If we overclock it and take it all the way up, that'll push it up into this area. Once we overclock it, it'll push it in a bit further. So this is people that's been overclocking stuff. But that gives you an idea of where these parts sit. So it's not of all PCs, it's of parts of a similar nature, like where it sits in terms of its range. Right, we're going to submit these benchmarks. Computer model, yep. There's an anonymous update. Click that link there. Add that to my favourites. because that was the first ever build of this, and that gives me how well it performed and how it all kind of breaks down. So it means I've got this now as my point of reference for the future. So if I ever need to look back at what I've changed or what I've updated, sort of shows where it comes. Everyone quite happy so far? Is everyone following along okay? No one fell asleep yet? Senior's like, fucking, what's he doing? Why is he doing this? Real. Yeah. The kind of basic thing is that the reason we bench the PC is firstly to make sure that everything works, and secondly it gives us a point of reference for the future, so we can come back to this at any point and go, okay, I swapped out the memory that's in this machine for the memory that's in that machine, we swapped it over, what was the difference? Did it perform better or did it perform worse? Similarly, if we decide to turn on a setting, like overclocking the CPU, we can look at it after we've overclocked it and look at it before, so we can look at how well things perform before and after. So that's the logic to doing this. Close that, and we're happy with that. So that there gives us where this sits in the world. So the world average is 4,314 and this scored 8,950. So the kind of high end scale. That was for the overall pass mark of it. So you can see that up here. If you look at individual components, it shows you the sort of averages that are getting hit. Now bearing in mind, this is the average of most people's computers. Like taking anybody's computer that is running anything that has been benched, and most computers do get benched before they get shipped. Even manufactured ones will be benched. You have comparisons. Quick look down this. So the one thing that's holding this back is the RAM. Drive's fine, RAM's a bit weak. Graphics is doing okay, but we are going to change the graphics card at some point in the very near future. Once the new 4000s are released, I think. That takes care of that part. Next up, downloads folder. One more benching site that I want to look at. User benchmark. I always run 2 benching and 1. So you get to watch another weird and wonderful fucking thing going on. Full screen test. Whee. I get to move it up. Sometimes you just can hear the sound of that or not. Chinese. The pew pew. Oh, the fly plane. brick walls. Whoosh. Quick, quick, quick. Mini games. Wow. Red ones are worth more points. Ta-da! There we go. Get a look at the results now. So this is a very similar idea to the last website we looked at, which has got benching scores on it. The difference being is it's run by users more than it is by developers and stuff, and it gives little graphs. So again, CPU, you can see here that this CPU, we've not even overclocked it, is running 160% above the average, which means that it's actually running outstandingly great. The graphics card, again, we've not overclocked it, we've not tuned it, and it's even performing above what we'd expect. The hard drive, again, is performing outstanding. And the RAM, even though this RAM has not been tuned properly, and it's also only 16 gig, it's not 32, you can see here it's actually performing way better than we would expected it to. So everything on this build is currently sitting way out with the margins. Now this here is a typical build that you'd find inside this motherboard. So this is where I want to have a quick look at what the difference is. So they're using the exact same CPU, it's the most common one. Graphics cards, most common are the 3090s, which is where the graphics would be a lot higher. 3080 Ti, however, in my opinion, performs better than the 3090. The drive, they're using, it's the Samsung 9800 Pros. Again, this is a personal preference one. I prefer the Western Digital over the Samsung for this one. RAM, these have got higher clock speeds, which is why these have been chosen. And that's the one that I'm going to be putting on it, which is the 32 gig. Although that's 4 8s, so essentially it's the same RAM that's in it right now, but with another 2 sticks. And the typical benching score would then give these as percentages. So 229% for gaming versus 111. The thing that's going to change this is the graphics card. The graphics card is the one big change that would make a massive difference. As you can see here, it's at just close to 100%, so it's nearly hitting the benchmark, which is based on the RTX 2070 range, I believe. Not tell me here, but I'm almost certain that that's what they compare it against. So that there is that bench test. I want to add save that as well. Give me 1 second. Oh. I have a funny feeling I already have it on. I do have one. You want to save the password? Yes, because then it saves me right to remember it in the future. I do get any favourites again. Try to find build itself. Save it. Why can't I? It's not letting me save it the way I wanted it. Never mind. I have still recorded it, which is fine. Right, so we have done all our testing up to this point that I wanted. The next thing I want to do is start installing some stuff. If we look at what this program does. Very interesting. Okay. Once you do a restart before. Also want to try and get into the BIOS again. I want to get into the easy. What to try for the F12 BIOS. I think it's good. Either F12 or delete. Get it? Nope. We'll try delete. Or escape. Pew 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 pew. Wasn't it Omega's keyboard? Easy tuning whistle. Gaming, yeah, editing. Next. It's water cooled. Estimated tune performance will give CPU up by 12% and RAM up by 3%. Then you now do a power cycle. Next thing to do is go to the AMD website and install software for it, for the CPU and the GPU in this case, which they will both have their own test function as well. You'll be able to tune the CPU and the GPU maximise performance, and then we can get World of Warcraft on it. And then we've got to do all the drivers and all the weak auras, all the add-ons. Well, it takes ages. Matty, have you managed to find a K-ship, pal? Fell asleep, isn't he? Okay. Okay. Add that. So I'm hoping what it's doing right now is BIOS stuff. It's currently doing loading video BIOS. So it's doing a code 97. We'll just leave that to do its thing just now. That might just take a little bit of time. Back to Matty's build a second. So that was that case that we thought about. That's that spec 4. So what this is going to tell me is what I need to look for a motherboard. Okay, interesting enough, this says it's a acrylic side panel. I think it's tempered glass. What? That's the base. This part here is the part that I'm interested in. It tells me that it has a 3.2 Gen 1 Type A and a standard Type A as well. So that means that the motherboard has to have those functions on it in order for this case to fully work. So back in, the next thing we're going to look at then, motherboard. I'm going to come down and the part that has here we are, 3.2, so the Gen 1 header is the Type A, one of them, and the 2.0, one of them. So that would give us all the boards that fit with that design. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to tell it whether or not we want different manufacturers. Now I've already spoken this in the past. Essentially you want to take all of these less the MSI option. ASRock's okay, it's not quite as good though, but that's sort of the main contenders. This is now the motherboards. We then want to think about size. We don't really want to put a little tiny ITX case motherboard or micro ATX into a big case. It would look out of place. We're going to take ATX for the form factor. That covers that. We were talking about future proofing of this as well, which means that we'd probably want to go with DDR5 RAM. and we want to have at least 4 slots for upgrade path. At least one PCI 16, which it will come with anyway. So what this should do is should give us 2 lots of option. We either go with Intel, which are DDR5 support, and the new AM5 AMD, which has also got DDR5 support now. So both of them work. So it either becomes an Intel Team Blue or AMD Team Red. So this is where I need to look back at the sheet, see if there's something that you mentioned on that. I don't think. Monitors, colour, budget, custom build, and yeah, pretty much all. Cool. I guess this becomes the question then, Matty, because I know you're sitting there. Is there a specific yeah. So I'm just checking the code on this. I might need to get back to that in a minute. I kind of need to do a power cycle. Back up. Right, so AMD. That gives us a new shortlist. We'll put them in price order. And a quick nosy down. Let's see if that's got reposted. And it's a little magical thing, which is good. I'll go into the BIOS again in a minute though. I'll rechange something. So yeah, Matty, this is sort of what we've got in terms of motherboards. Is there a specific colour or theme? Or one of the things you did actually tell me is that it had to have Wi-Fi on the board as well. We'll go with at least Wi-Fi 6 or above. So that one. So that's the equivalent of what I've got. So mine's the X570, and it's the crosshair Fusion one that I've got, which isn't actually released yet, but that there's pretty much the same sort of concept. Yeah, so that would be and this is the Gigabyte Aurora's Master one, which is kind of similar, just a different brand. There's that one, which has got the heat panels and everything for the M.2 drives. Pop that in. Okay, that's back up and running, that's good. Do another benchmarking on this, just yep. It should do, yeah. I know that mine's got a little screen about that size on it, and it changes. I'm just retesting this in the background whilst we're doing your build. Right, so that means CPU is pretty much down to a list of 4, and this is based on the fact that it's the new AMD CPUs that have only just kind of came out. So, oh, why'd that power off? Didn't like something in that test there. That was to do with CPU. Does it say why we powered off? No, it doesn't say why we powered off. Okay. CPU's only running at 41 degrees. No real reason why. Kicked out. We need to keep an eye on that one. Could very well be a BIOS thing. Right. I'm just checking the memory on the RAM a second. Probably make sure it wasn't the RAM that failed. Right, anyway, back to yours. So, how much are we at on the total build cost so far? $700, and that is just simply motherboard and case. So 600 was the price, which means that we want to spend 1,500 divided by 3, roughly about 500 per major part, so slightly up on that one. We want to spend roughly close to about 500 on CPU. These are all new. So the Ryzen 900 sits at pricing point that we're talking about. A higher one would be about an additional £200, so you're what you kind of tailor this around budget now. You can always upgrade the CPU, you never want to ever go back and upgrade a motherboard. So this doesn't have a cooler, so we also need to consider cooler for it next. It is going to run very hot. So you're probably better looking at liquid cooled AIOs for this sort of job. You either want a USB fan. I don't know if I would appreciate having a daisy fan or not. We'll actually use a block cooler. So let be quiet. Noctua. Let's look at the Noctua. Yeah. Yeah, you know the little USB fucking flare fans that you get? That's what he's talking about. That DRAM check's done. Stop that. Okay. That now. Yeah, you could get away with see like one of these big block coolers, Matty. You could use something like this. That's the Noctua. Be quiet. Something like that, like a big chunky cooler. And an AIO kick. Cooler Master AIO. Yeah, I think he's going to have to. I mean, what's your thoughts on cooler system? I might need to come back to the cooler one. I'll look at it as the final pricing point, see what we're left with in the budget. Storage. Quite in works. Right, first thing we want it to have NVMe. We want it to be M.2 Gen 4. Yeah, so it's M.2 Gen 4 support with NVMe that we're looking at. And then capacity, you said at least 1 terabyte. So that gives us, well, price in order. So you've got the Western Digital SN7700, which is, I don't know what that one is, that one there. Yeah, you get one of them that's got the heatsink. So I've got the SN870, that's what's in this. With the heatsink on it. In fact, it's in that cupboard over there. The one with the heatsink. So it kinda comes down to pricing on these now. If we was to go with Samsung, you get Western Digital. That's brings our list right down now. There's the 850 there. That's the one that's in this machine. Yep. Okay, so you just take the heatsink off it, 980 Pro, that's that one there. Yeah, that's exactly that one. 2 TB. Oh. Set with the heatsink on it. Need to remove it out of the heatsink drive. Okay. But yeah, that's an option. If you're not using the PlayStation, then yeah. You would do for this because the motherboard has already got a pre-installed heatsink design, which is that bit there. Starting out with something in the bottom corner. Doing that. Went to AMD's website. They click to download it. Did? Yep, there it is. Now go doo doo doo. Oh. Magic in the background. On that. Yeah, so the heatsink would need to come off to go underneath that part. Or you would just purchase one that didn't have the heatsink already on it. So double check. So yeah, the kind of cheaper option would be going with the Western Digital SN 770, which is 2 TB with no heatsink, which works perfectly fine. Good drives. Not quite as fast as obviously the slightly later models, which is the new one, which is the 850. Is that? But they both have Gen 4 support for the PCIe Express lane, so that works out pretty well. Just doing the graphics update for it's fucking magical wonderful thing in the background. So if we put that one in to begin with, that gives us at least something, and it gives a pricing point as well. And also it is a 2 TB, so you would never need to consider having any higher storage capacity on it. Like you'd never need to add in, for any logical reason, another drive at any point. So this is where we start getting really tight on budget, because we've about 200 quid left to play with. And because of the size of the GPU and everything, it really needs to be an RTX series. Okay. That's your top end graphics cards. Only includes those ones. That point upwards. So that's a 3070 Ti and that's a 3070 Ti. Difference being is the manufacturer. They're roughly the same price. One is made by Asus. It won't have any RGB on it. Or if it does, it's minimum. It is a tough set, which is a step down from the Strix. Another one, which is the Gigabyte Aurora Master, which is their premium gaming ones, which has all the bells and whistles on it. Interestingly, they both come in about the same price. The only thing being, whenever it comes to the RG, yeah, that's what we're looking at. The difference being, Matty, is to do with whenever it comes to controlling all the colour settings, is you would need to use two different programs to control the colour setup. A bit of pain in the backside, but at the same time, it's kinda worth it. And that's doing its software install, which is... So what's your thoughts, pal? You've got the Aurora's Master or the Asus Tough. So that puts us just over the £2 margin, which would mean that we'd need to start looking at going back on some of this stuff. One of the options would be to take out the M.2 drive and go with an SSD hard drive combo, which would bring back the price. Still got to put RAM in it as well. Or we take back the graphics card and put in something a bit smaller. So this is where you've got to start putting together different things in order to fine tune it, in order to keep you on budget. So really is it's a very fine balancing point. Come back on ourselves with this, and we go with the lower CPU, which is the 5. Still going to need a cooler for it. Go from Eton and that upwards. So it's the Strix 3060 Ti. Is the second releases of them 600. That might actually work in slightly better. So that gives you the Strix and the GOG as well. Try to do this in the background as well. That's just the graphics. I'm just doing things on this other one now, just very quickly. Upgrade the drivers on it. Right, so we've got a CPU, we've got a motherboard, need to do RAM, we've got a graphics card, we've got a case. Storage. Do RAM first actually. Because I know that you like RGB. So that would probably be the entry stuff here. 3 pound difference. That's probably a slightly better one. What do you think? Do you think you could handle that amount of RGBness? Right, so add in that's 32 gig. Still in target at this point. We need power. Part of that, really need to look at motherboard. Pins that. Who can count? Oh, EPS 28. There's 2 8s. And that was that. That. What's that? Power supply. We want to ensure that it's gold or higher on efficiency. Fully modular to make it easier to work with. And this is the part we need here, where it says EPS 2/8 or more. We don't want one that's a 1 and 1/4 because that's not good to me. Would have fitted this, and a 1 isn't good. Well, that gives us our power supplies. In terms of manufacturers, again, like a lot of things, there's certain companies that you trust and certain companies that you don't. In terms of pricing, now we need to think about the amount of wattage is going into it. We want to go, I don't know, 850. So that's the RM850 is the first one on the list. And then you've got the older model, that's the newer one, that's the one. You've then got Seatronic, R850. That's the first platinum one that you come to, which is similar to the one that I've got in this, except mine is the I version. Potentially isn't even on here. Yeah, it's the I version. Further down, so you're probably looking. I honestly think you get away with that there. That's got motherboard, CPU, peripherals, and GPU power outage. Got 2 standalone ports for the GPU, and then your Molexes and stuff. Yep, that would cover any GPU that we put in it. And it's not a price, and it's also got a good efficiency rating. Means that it will save a little bit of money on the electric bills. I need to restart the AMD software again. Lots of restarts. Get on the corner. CPU, motherboard, memory. A couple of things left to go. Type one budget thing again. Need to revisit that GPU thing again. This is where actually what you're talking about a minute ago about the whole storage, putting in the one that you've already got, 2TB one, would actually help save a lot of money. And keep you on budget. So it was the 850 Pro that you're talking about, wasn't it? It's about 200 quid on its own. Yeah, 980 Pro with heat shield, 2TB. Hey! Omega's talking on Twitch, by the way, in case you want to interact with her. I'm assuming she's at work. Right, so we can put that in, and we can change this to already been purchased. And I'll put it as a 0 cost, because then it keeps us in line with. So that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done. Go. again, to save on to do this in the future, they're more than likely, because of this whole RGB thing, they probably want to put in an AIO killer. And for the size of the is it only coming out with those? Ah, just to do with the sockets on them. Because the AM5 socket hasn't been out for very long, I think this is trying to why won't it allow me to add in larger quality? The near and Matty's on. Matty's only one talking just now. Yeah, I think what it's trying to detect is the cooler to fit into that sort of space. No, this is still the stream rig. The new rig's getting tested and stuff just now. We're running updates on it. Just want to have a quick look at this in the background. So the driver and software is updated. Alrighty. Can't see your name. Welcome to stream. Right, so Matty, I think the reason it's coming up with fans, I'm not 100% on this, is they've not updated to say that these fans will currently fit into an AM5 socket. Look, yeah, if you look here, not listed as AM5 compatible. I would need to double check, but I'm almost certain that would fit. I think it's just they've not updated the information on some of it. That one's been done. It might be that we need to come back to the cooler a bit closer to the time, just so that we can get one that's a slightly bigger radiator design on it for better cooling efficiency. But that puts us just marginally over your targeted price asked for currently. What I'll do is I will add this to my save list. Saving your parts list. Rest build. No hash key on this keyboard. Oh, it's up. And move that. That one and edit D. Enable comments. That means it comment on it. Put this onto Discord for you, into the tech support channel, which is up there. Paste that in, hit return. So that gives us a link to it. And you should be able to leave comments on it, should you wish to do so. Which then means that if there's anything that I need to edit or change on it, like request wise, I can do. Before we actually go to the build process. But yeah, as it stands, like all of that all sort of builds in and fits in. And keeps you in budget. The upgrade path would be to upgrade the CPU at some point. And you've got space to add in more RAM. Other than that, I would say that's pretty much part of it. The one thing we will need to readdress is this cooler thing though. Yeah, so Ryzen's got pins, however I'm not sure if the new Ryzen has got pins. So the AM5 might be pads. It was one of the things that we're talking about changing. I've not actually seen, these have only literally been on the shelf about a week. So the prices of them should come down as well, because they are new to the market. So people's not really that a good chance to throw them all about yet. But that's that one. Right, back to this. We're on this part here, so I've just tuned the graphics. It's been custom done, so hopefully this here now. Fan tuning, turn that on. For the time being. This is all the sort of things you can tweak with it and fart around. You kind of get the settings that you want for getting it to do a bit more bits and bobs. There is an auto clocking feature for the view. I was trying to find part to download it. Ryzen Master, is this the thing I'm with? Is there a part on the download? Download now. So this is where AMD apparently, I've never actually played with this, they know how good it is, but they're meant to have a pre-fabricated software that does all its overclocking, and is meant to be really good at it. So end license, user agreement, scroll to the bottom, and agree that we're going to declare war on the Middle East. So, and we're all good. So that's got to install the next part. Whilst that's doing its little thing, I will go and grab another drink of Iron Brew.